Hello, everyone. This is Baduk, and I guess we're bringing a little bit of a special game here today. I'm going to be playing Struggle Bus by StrugglebusGo on YouTube, and I wanted to sort of reach out and play other creators or collaborate in some way. He was one of the first people to respond, and we're going to just play a game, keep it very simple. I'm going to compare my thoughts to his thoughts, and I believe he's going to be making a little bit more of a complicated edited video versus what I usually do. So if you want to see something with a bit more effort put into it, you should definitely go check out his channel and his video. If you want to check out his channel, you should be able to just click on his name in the title of the video, and that should bring you right over to him as long as I did it correctly. If not, it'll be an pinned comment in the comment section.
対局開始。
All right, the game is starting, and I am white for this game. I got to turn off these coordinates. There we go. That's way better. And yes, I'm just going to play my normal sort of opening here. Let's actually do my old opening here. The opposing 3/4s, and let's see what he does. Looks like the board is slightly different than before. I wonder why. But it looks like everything's still lined up, so it should be fine. Just going to do the, yes, as I said, opposing 3/4 opening. What I like about this opening is just that there's many ways to play, and I'm pretty much happy with most of them. And it's sort of a territorial way to play as well. So of course, I like to just attach underneath. It's almost always better than any other Joseki here. I really don't like it when black can attach to the corner. It's also why I don't like to pincer this move here. And now it's probably best for him to approach the upper left corner, but he is not going to do so. This just makes it a little bit easier for me to take two solid corners in the opening. I could play high. This leaves the next move being really good for both of us, so I don't want to do that. So I like just this low large knights move enclosure. I think like the most modern way to play is definitely to attach at a d16, but anything along the top is often good, though he does have potential for a 3/4 enclosure in the bottom right. For the opening, it doesn't really matter. So enclosing on the corner here or in the top, either one should be fine. If I honey over the top, he honeys in the corner. I cut and connect, and we do this Joseki. The idea is that he would be honeying over at C13, and he would be solidifying this area, while I would be taking the top, which is actually probably better for me because the left side is very open or very small now. But I'm just going to play the simpler way. We're just going to follow the basic Joseki here, which should be perfectly acceptable. Him pushing here is not really an option because of his extension on this side. So while sometimes you could do this push, while sometimes you could do that push, it would be separating his groups in this case. And this case is another sort of interesting one. If he cuts an Ayatari and push, he can turn here, and I have to connect, and then it's 1, 2, 3 liberties versus 1, 2, 3, 4 liberties. And even if he pushes one more time, it's still the same amount of liberties. The purpose of going down and doing this cut here is to try to get this E18 move in Sente. That's sort of the purpose of the cut for this in this Joseki. In this case, I can still kill the stone. So it's better for me to come over the top here. Because the other purpose is for him to push over the top or to press me down in some way. So I need to break into the center now. This is very important. I don't need to get rid of his base or anything. Just separating and getting a presence in the center is good enough in this case. He does have a little bit of end game over here now. I forgot these menus just pop up out of nowhere. But he does have some end game. But overall, the center presence is much more important. H16 is acceptable. He could have gone a little bit further, but he would have wanted to go into the third line. The fourth line seems a little bit questionable. However, in this case, I'm going to start with approaching his corner over here to see how he responds. Because this is still a very big territorial move. But because he played H16, I'm very tempted to not invade at the 3/3 and to just approach here instead. If he pincers, then I can get this 3/3. And if he blocks along the side, I'm already sort of reducing him with this move at F14. Okay, solid move here. I'm going to approach him on the top now. Just this exchange is already good enough. I can't really build anything on the bottom, so playing another move on the bottom is not really that important. I would have been very tempted as him to just enclose this corner instead. But again, this is sort of the opening, so either of these moves are going to be perfectly acceptable. There's no special importance on whether I approach the bottom right or not. I just like to do that. I think pincer here is the simplest way to play because I definitely can't jump out. And backing off, I think, is acceptable. But I have a lot of options here now because he is not alive. The tools again. He's not alive with this group. So me playing this was already a good move. And so me already having a move here makes it even better. So I think I want to pressure his group, which is why I wanted him to pincer because it would have been a little bit more of a solid move. If he pressures my stone at all, then it gets strong enough to not have to worry about this invasion, which is a very nice bonus for me. If he just jumps up, then I can slide into the corner and protect my group. He could try to invade right away, and I'd have two sorts of options to deal with that. I could attach underneath. Ooh, he's going to jump out towards the center. He didn't want to exchange anything. That's understandable. So I will just slide into the corner and try to make this strong first. I said attaching would still be fine, but there's more variations with attaching. He can still invade over here, but it's a different way to play. If I wanted to focus more on his weak group, we could have jumped out on this side to apply a little bit more pressure here, but that wasn't the focus. Focus is strengthening ourselves first and then applying the pressure. So if we're looking at this board, one strategy that Black probably wants to employ is trying to get a little bit of a moyo. He has a lot of high stones. He's going to pincer here now. But he has a lot of high stones, and so doing something right away would make a lot of sense. He's pincering very close to this. Normally, I think you'd go one space further, but I guess this is probably acceptable. And I have two sorts of options. As I said, one thing he should potentially focus on is building a moyo. If he pressed me down, at least a little bit before I jumped, and then he tried to pressure this group by keeping it flat or something along those lines, he might actually have a lot of potential in the center. In this case, I want to get a little bit of a center presence again. So I'm going to attach on the top of this stone. He shouldn't hane on the inside. That just provides too much weakness on the outside, too many cutting points. If he can read out that it works, then it's acceptable. But if he can't, then he shouldn't play it. In this case, probably just hane and tiger's mouth. He makes a base here, and I jump out towards the center. Again, I said the center is important right now. Okay, so I'm going to back off here. And he should just play the tiger's mouth. In this case, connecting solidly means that he doesn't want me to get the clamp at N2, making my grip a little bit weaker. So I understand that. This allows me to hane over the top and him to be in a little bit worse shape. But I do have a little bit of a weaker position. So I will just jump here first, threatening the tiger's mouth, which would give me very strong shape. And if he extends, we're just going to play a very simple move to protect ourselves. Not worry about anything extra. Having this center position, again, center, very important, prevents him from making any sort of moyo like he had a potential to do by pressing me down earlier. But this does give him the ability to make the points on the right side of the board. Keep swiveling in my chair. I need to learn how to not do that. That jump is a little bit questionable, I think. And I'm going to point out that it's questionable to him right away in a very simple way. I'm going to play this tiger's mouth. This is the move I wanted him to play. So I'm going to point it out, right? This is the move you need to play, the tiger's mouth. And then I'm going to peep at his shape here. This is not the best peep to play. It's probably better to play from the fourth line. But I'm just going to take a little bit of territory in exchange for him playing the slightly wrong move here. There's a couple options. We could just back off. Yeah, I think so. I could have haneed as well and given it up to get a little bit of strength here, prevent him from connecting up. But just backing off, I think, is good enough. And he should try to connect his groups. Or he should try to attack me in some way. I still have a little bit of space to make an eye in the corner. You should probably just take this territory here. I jump out, then he jumps over to the left side. It's difficult to separate him from the left side. Threatening to connect up underneath, I'm going to Hane. If he blocks, he can no longer connect up underneath. And then I get the first move towards the center here. So just jumping up for the center should be okay. I think this was a good idea, but he needs to follow it up with... I probably need to connect on the left side first. Giving me the initiative in the center might have been a little bit of a mistake, because now it's harder for him to take the territory on the right side, and I can probably play on that side myself later. At the very least, shoulder hitting or something else, or being able to take the corner here, forcing him to the side, jumping out. So he just has to be very careful with how he handles his weak group on the bottom. 2 space jump. It's a little bit... It's probably fine. I'm just going to jump one more time. He was trying to get ahead of me. I understand that. That makes a lot of sense. So I'm just going to stay ahead. He still should connect on the left side. He does have 2 weak groups technically, so he just needs to be a little bit careful. I still think playing on the right side is probably important. Yeah. Little bit of a questionable placement, but I think it's acceptable. Now I do have a little bit of a weakness here in the top group. So before trying to attack him, though I could do it now, before trying to attack him, I'm going to reinforce my top group. This also helps reinforce my center, gives me a place that I can run towards. Makes it a little bit harder for him to invade as well on this top point. Taking the corner now, I think, is probably a mistake. He already has the move on the side, so you could say that while this is a points move, it's only a points move. My group should be fairly strong now. So I have 2 options. Jumping here to separate him from this left side, or going over for the top. I think the top is a little bit easier because he does have a weak group in the upper left as well. So let's just go over the top of the stones. I think in this case, I'm going to force him to connect up to the left side and then attack him on the top. It's hard to say where my profit's going to necessarily be coming from, but I'm just looking to get like a slide here at H18 in Sente. This gives me a couple points. Solidifies my group a little bit, right? Ooh, interesting. That is quite interesting. I could defend. If I defend like this and he extends, then I can Hane and push out. So I think I will attach to him here. I don't think it's necessarily bad. He is making some more shape for his stones, but he has to be a little bit careful because now I can separate him from the bottom. And if he doesn't play again on the top, when I Hane here, now I am getting some points in the center. Whereas before it was still quite open. Yeah, so now I get to separate this side here. And this side's a very important separation. He might still be able to connect up. I might still push him in that direction, but he has to be very careful. He's going to cut me. Okay. Looks like I can just cut him, and that should be good enough for me. And his cut is a little bit bad. Maybe the peep first and then jump cut is a little bit better. Slightly bad shape here, I think. The 2 space jump makes it so it's a little bit harder for him to do more with this group. So I just double Hane. And we're surrounding him on the bottom here. He can make some points here in the center, but he has to be very careful. Is that actually important? Looks like I can get this Atari here first. And I can give up this 1 stone if I really want to, in order to just capture this directly. Very good. I'm pretty happy with this exchange here. I believe he should just be dead on the bottom. Yeah, I think there's nothing else here for him to do. Now, in order to keep his profit, he has to push through here at Tengen. But then I can get the Hane. And he has a little bit of bad shape over here. I think I will take this Atari first. He can try to do something. But if I can capture here in Sente, it's a little bit questionable. Let's see what he does. See if he really tries to push through here. He's not going to. Okay. Settling his left side group is pretty good. I'm going to capture this. This is very, very important for me to capture. And now he still has this weak group in the upper left to deal with. He was able to get some points on the right side. But let's just point out to him that I am now very, very thick in the area. He's going to have a little bit of a hard time. I said, I just want this H18 move in Sente when I'm attacking. This gives me extra points. I just want like a couple small moves to get extra points when attacking. You don't necessarily have to get a large area. There's a lot of ways to respond. I think I like this one. But just pushing here is okay. But I like this response here. Preventing him from attaching on top and getting a very strong attack on the stones. Okay. He's going to cut through this. Looks like he can if he wants to. It's very big. Yes, looks like he can just connect up. Very sad, very sad. But I already got some profit over here. Let's just connect, I guess. Because he's Tanukiing his group on the top again. So we'll just connect and we'll let him have his stones back. We've already gotten a lot of compensation. I'm going to peep one time just to see what he wants. It's probably not that big of an in-game move, but just to see what he wants to do here. Okay. And then protect my shape. If he isn't careful, I still get to jump in to this right side. So he probably should respond at least one time. I probably don't have to protect, but this is just the simplest way. Okay. So now he is not connected anywhere. Let us just peep here and see what he wants. We're just looking at poking at this group here. Because he didn't defend this, he decided to protect on the other side. So it looks like we can potentially break through here. Looks like he might be giving up these 4 stones, which would be okay. Because if he just Ataris, I can just push from underneath. That should be fine. Oh, okay. I can still cut. So let's take the profit first. Just take these 4 stones. So it was premature to say that the bottom was completely dead. He could save it, but he also had to do something in the top left. Which is why I was pretty happy to say that was a good position. Okay, I'll block that. That's Sente. So it's a good end game move there. I can attach here. It looks like there's something there. Well, maybe it's not a great idea. Well, maybe I can. It's hard to say for sure. Hane. So he's just going to play end game now. Okay. If it's just end game, then I get this push first. This was bigger than the Hane. And see how he responds. Is he just going to play end game now? Let's just turn here, see how he responds. This is just making my group a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger. This means I also get to do this Hane into the corner. This is just end game. Like really big to capture that. So can I attach here? It's a little difficult. Can I cut through here is the better question. If I can, he needs another move. So it might be better for him to not protect here and to do that instead, huh?
秒読み
So just connect up underneath. I think he makes some good decisions every so often here. Like this cornerstone's not really that important. And this was probably big because it's probably Sente. I could capture the corner, but I do lose some points on the top too. Okay, so he's just going to reinforce, not going to worry about anything. Let's move towards the center here. Prevent him from getting a lot of points over here. Then decide if we can do anything here with this attachment. If I attach, he Hane's over. I block, he Ataris, I go down. He has to connect. I have this turn here. And then it's a little bit difficult. I might be able to do something. So let's look at it a little bit.
10、9、8、7、6、5、4、3。
Let's see if there's any sort of Aji here. He should probably try to fight back. So he is going to fight back. All right. Let's see. It seems difficult to do anything, but we'll find out if there is anything to do. Okay. There's this one. Go down, down, down. This is not quite Sente enough. He can just block here. When I cut, I guess I could Hane. He has to connect. Like go to the
10、
corner.
9、8、7、6、5、4、
Let's see if there's anything over here first. Yeah, so there's not necessarily something on the right side, but I just want to test it out. If I think that it won't work, I'm just going to not play it instead of trying to trick him. But we just want to see first. Oh, okay. Interesting. What if I connect? Then I Atari here. You're going to play a Ko, I guess? So this is why you test the moves first. Because now I have Atari, Atari, Atari. Now if it's a Ko, then now I have this area as Ko threats. So I guess he was thinking he was a little bit behind. I guess we could check. Do we have score estimate on? We do. We have score estimate on. Yeah, if he captures this, he might be ahead. Oh, but it's also saying that he doesn't have this. I don't know. If he captures this, he might be ahead. That's all I know. So I think he's playing really well. Oh, did it say the other side was dead? Okay, it did. It says that's dead, but it's not counting all the points here too. So I don't know. I don't know how this score estimate works. It's not counting like everything. Oh, okay. So I just capture. That was a good move, by the way. Him connecting there was a very good move. Okay. So we have a couple moves on the outside. We have this move as well, just to connect up. So we can start with this one. That's good enough because he's cut off in the center. Then I can capture again. And he's going to use all the co-threats in the upper left first. This is good. And if I do this one, he probably just squeezes me. Oh, no, he can't squeeze. So I guess I can do this one. If he connects, I capture. Probably good enough. I get some extra points here. He doesn't get all the points here. He's going to extend. Okay. But now he has to respond when I play this one. Because he can't give up more stones when he wasn't going to give up just the one. So now it's a little bit more dangerous for him. 3 liberties to 3 liberties. So I just take a liberty. And I still have at least this one more co-threat here. Now you definitely can't give it up now. Right. So then I just need something to break up his points a little bit. So something on this left side here would probably be a good enough co-threat. Or even threatening to connect up underneath here. Or this turn here would be potentially okay. But it gives him this Atari and he can maybe capture some stones. So it's not necessarily a good idea. 1, 2 liberties. So it's 3 liberties though still. So I guess I can go down here. This is fine. It looks like I have another Atari here. Another good co-threat. And just capture. I could just threaten this connection. This would be good enough, I think. Yeah, I think so. Let's do this. We can threaten this one, as I said. Capture. This will be his last co-threat over here. And then we want just one good co-threat somewhere else. That's all we need is one more good co-threat. So something on the left side should be good enough. That one, I guess it doesn't matter. He's dead in this area anyway. But just so you know, playing at C19 is usually the better way to play. Yeah, it's just usually the better style to play. This capture is good. And so now we just need to do something on the left side here. If I play inside directly, he can attach on top, and that could potentially be bad. So I don't want to do that one directly. I want to play this sort of reduction-y type one. That way, if I am going to ignore something, it's not going to be as damaging. But now I have at least one more co-threat on that left side. And he has to be a little bit careful with his co-threat here. Ah, just just living. Okay. So I get to survive here. I get a couple extra points in the center. He loses some points here. I still can take this really big end game. And we do have a little bit of Aji here to potentially make some more points. So I push here. He connects underneath. I attach here. He can't really block in a too much of a way, right? So
10、
let's push and attach. There's a common shape point with the iron pillar with the kick. You can always attach at the end of it here. This is just going to make me maybe 1 or 2 points in the center. That's probably good. And now that I have all this thickness here, 1 or 2 points is cool. And I can just extend back. This should be okay. All right. Oh, almost misclicked. Probably fine. This turn is very, very big. He should push. Even if he gets this corner, this turn is very big. Pushing at least one time is very important here. Is the shape, I guess you could say. Blocking that way. Well, I am going to most definitely turn here now. This was the proper shape. Okay. I'm not sure I understand this one exactly. He probably doesn't even need to respond on the left side. Probably could just left that. left, yep. And then just taking this stone is big enough now, I think. I think this is fine. Just letting him have this is okay. 6 points, good enough to capture. He could peep here first, though. I think this would be a good move. This peep first, I think, would be just right. And there's a couple points here in the center, potentially. So I might just fix it now. If he plays another move, he can just reduce it a little bit, I guess. Okay, I'll take the big move first. Let's see if he cuts. See if he cuts. If he cuts this one, I'm just going to, I guess, capture it. Just a basic thing here. He does have cutting points on the other side, but it should be fine overall. A little bit too many liberties for my group. I thought about just pushing and giving it up. But I'm like, wait a minute, I can just net it. It's all good.
あなたの勝ち。
Ah, he resigned. Okay, let's look at what the score says here. Estimate score. Yeah, ahead by 28.1. I think the score estimate's finally counting some stuff. Yes, thank you for the game. But let's look at this really quick here. So there wasn't really too much in this upper right area, but I wanted to just try to get something. And so he decided to be a little bit greedy and block here. If he just connects, I can only really do this. So there's probably nothing here now. Maybe I have a peep and I can maybe try to get some little bit here, but I have a shortage of liberties. So it's not too big of a deal. But I just get to reduce a little bit. He gets this whole side. It's fine. Now we just need to play more in-game stuff. If we look at the score estimate now, I'm ahead by just a little bit. So what I need to do is use this thickness that he gave me early on. Now that it's very late in the game, I can turn that into points. So, like I did in the game with this, he blocks, and then we can play the exact same sort of sequence that we did in the game. Even if I just make a couple points in the center area, and he pushes here, he reduces. Even though I just get a couple points here, this should be good enough. Let me check real quick, see if there was anything else to really look at in the game. Yeah, I think just taking the corner here, I think was probably the mistake in the game. If he just jumps now, instead of taking the corner, I think he has a very strong, solid position. If I have to jump again, he takes the side. It's a little difficult. You know, this is actually a difficult game to play. So I think he did really well. Now, I know the board is slightly off. It's a little bit annoying. I may have to fix this. I guess OGS did change some stuff. Heard people talking about it earlier. But I hope you enjoyed this video. And you definitely still need to go check out the video that StrugglebusGo is doing. Before we say goodbye, I do want to say a quick thank you to the people who are supporting me on Patreon. There are some names that I need to add to this list, so I thank you all very much, and I will be adding them for my next video. I hope you guys are having a good day and have fun.